Hey, Shalom Aleichem. This is Rakam Akapash from Jim London. Give it all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Shem V'Chachadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, pushing this truth in all sincerity. Back in with another video. And this lesson is going to be based on this scripture here in Proverbs 28, verse 10, which I came across, I was going through other scriptures and that. And it just stood out to me. So I was like, oh, let me save that, and build a lesson around it for another time. So, I'm here. So let's just get into it, man, because we're gonna talk again about these other camps and their role in the last days, these end time prophecies, right, concerning the flock, right? Because we know the Lord, the Most High Yahweh, is not going to be saving all of the Israelites, right? We know that's not the case, right? And there's going to be a large portion of them that are going to believe a lie, that are going to be deceived, right? But you need people to deceive them, right? And so there's guys, Scripture points out to be as false prophets, right? So you're gonna have the false prophets, and you're gonna have the true prophets, right? But based on their behavior, by trying the spirits, like the Scripture tells you, like you're supposed to do, right? You can tell them by their fruit and their behavior and what they're doing, right? Are they really doing what they're supposed to be doing as men of the Lord, as prophets? And they to the blind, obviously, these guys look like they're saints, right? They're all these guys want to follow after them, but those that want to follow after these dudes in their droves, okay, they're being led to into that wide gate that leads to destruction. All right, and so these individuals that are out there leading these these people out here to that destruction, man, they're playing a very dangerous game, because they're going to get caught up in it just the same. Like, even though they know what's going on, they must know what's going on, right? And they must be knowing they're deceiving the congregations, but they don't seem to really care. All right, that spirit's on them just to take advantage of the bewildered herd. All right, feigning or trying to pose as if they're men of the Lord and that they believe in the scriptures and that they're teaching the scriptures 100%, okay, which they ain't. So it's a dangerous game to play. And these men are making money. They're living luscious, lavish lives. They got the respect and the honor of the congregations, right? And again, and it really ultimately all comes down to that they have lack of faith, because they want the joys of this world. Right, and the truth, the ministry is a method to get that. Right, as you see, plenty of corrupt organizations that use the Bible and that to get rich off. Right, but these are not true men of the Lord. Okay, they're just taking advantage of the simple. All right, so let's just get into it. This is Proverbs 28, verse 10. So, whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit. Right? So these congregations, right now, we're speaking mostly on these other Hebrews like camps, right? Because they're leading their congregations astray, right? None of them are really warning them about the mark of the beast, right? What they're telling them it isn't, right? And so their congregation is not prepared, for when that time comes. Right, so they're leading them astray. They're leading them towards the path of destruction. Okay, by telling them some bullshit, doctrines and breakdowns. Right, also they can just keep going into the church and build this and build that, donate this, buy our garments, buy our breakdowns, buy, just buy everything. Right, you're faithful for this ministry, right? Yeah, yeah, you got to put up down payment though. You got to put down payments, right? But yeah, these characters, these individuals that are that are doing this, right, extorting the people, basically, man, they're digging their own pit, right? So he shall fall himself into his own pit, but the upright shall have good things in possession, right? And good things don't mean, oh yeah, we're gonna have the freshest whips and the crispest clothes and all these different types of worldly things. No, you might have certain things, but these are not things we're being rewarded with. What we're being rewarded with is all in the spirit. Okay, we're laying up our treasures up in the heaven. You know, our reward is yet to come. So we're not expecting no rewards on this side. You know, whatever the Most High gives us, He gives us, and we'll do faithfully with it. But we're not expecting no rewards. You know, for a job well done. Our job ain't finished. So it can't be said if our job is well done or not. Right? We have to finish. All right. So we're not in the business of, you know, getting accolades and increasing our own importance. That's not what we're here to do. Okay, we're here to do the work of Yahweh Shai, the Most High and Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Shai. That's what we are here supposed to be doing. Right? These guys, they're obsessed, you know, focused on making money. At the end of the day, it's become a business. It's become an organization for business, right? And less about the truth, right? They'll teach what they need to teach to, you know, keep bums on seats or whatever, to bring people in, you know. But that's as far as it goes. These men are not sincere in heart. You know, I'm talking about the leaders. All right, because you might have some simple, sincere people in there, but your leaders are leading you astray. All right, and you know, if there is a righteous among you, you're going to figure that out eventually. All right, the Most High, you know, spirit on you to do, you know, to wake up. Right. So that was the scripture that prompted this video. And so, you know, I brought a little lesson around it. So again, you know, getting into the mark of the beast, because that's the all important thing. You know, the end times prophecies is the mark. Right, and those who's going to accept it, and those who ain't going to accept it. But you got to kind of know about it or know what it is to, you know, be able to refuse it. Otherwise, you can be like, well, my elders, my teachers, or whatever, you know, they didn't say there was nothing wrong with it. So a lot of people are going to end up taking it just because times are going to get hard. Right, but because, you know, they've not definitively told you that this is the mark of the beast, or the mark of the beast is something entirely different. Right, a lot of people are going to take it and be destroyed, pursuant to Revelation 14. Right, so let's read this. I'll grab 14 afterwards. If I've not inserted it here somewhere else, and I'll get that after. Right, so this is Revelation 13 and 16, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Right, so there's coming, you know, there's going to come a time real soon where you're not going to be able to purchase anything, right, unless you're a part of this new system, okay, unless you've taken this mark of the beast, which is the micro, you know, the RFID chip, right? They're going to insist that you take. All right, otherwise, you know, this is why they've been building up this whole digital system, digital ID, digital currency, you know, UBI, all of that. There's going to come a time where you ain't going to have to purchase anything because your money ain't worth nothing. Right, and so they're going to move to the digital system, okay, and that digital system is going to require you to be verified and all this sort of stuff, and to ultimately in the end take this mark, right? So you can get the goodies that you know, Big Daddy government that Esau's gonna, you know, offer you, right? So you can stay alive, right? Because time's gonna get crazy, right? But like I said, because times are gonna get hard, people are gonna be pressed. They're gonna be under pressure. Right, and because, you know, the leaders of these congregations, of these other Israelite camps, are not blowing the trumpet, not warning them of what the mark of the beast actually is. I mean, they are in what they, you know, in their own way, you know, apparently to what they believe in. Right, but none of it is covering what you should do if they bring out, you know, micro C-hip and they're asking you to take it. Otherwise, you can't buy or sell nothing, because that's what's going to happen. And to me, that just sounds like, well, that must be the mark of the beast then. Okay, but you've been told it's something else. So you're going to be in your mind like trying to like, well, is it this or is it that? You know, these you know, the congregation of these other groups are going to be in confusion. They're going to be uncertain. You know, uncertainty among them. Right, because on one hand they want to take it, right, because they need to eat. They want, you know, their family and that kind of stuff. Need to protect them or whatever, or feel like that's what they got to do. Right, but on the other hand, they've heard what we've had to say. Speaking of our elders and apostles of GMS, they've heard what we've had to say about the mark of the beast, right, and what it would be. And we haven't changed our stance, man. Right? And it's going to make a hell of a lot more sense in that time, for sure. Right? So you people are going to get spooked, right? You're going to be uncomfortable knowing this is going on. But a lot of you are going to be stubborn. A lot of you are going to be stubborn, man. And just like, but our leader said, they said this. Captain Tazarek or General Hunter said this. You know, General Hunter, you saw reverse psychology. Yeah, you meant to show them that you're not afraid, so you take it, so you're not afraid. just with the CV jabs, you know, like what the hell was he doing, man? some mind twist, you know, and you know, but he already told you, he already told everybody that he will take a chip to eat. So I mean, that don't surprise us, but like that's wild, you know. So these men are really really fully prepared to give in, at the moment where things get hard, and this is the Most High's test of your resolve, man, of your faith, and this guy's already telling you he's going to give in, you know. So you people are going to be confused, man, and you're going to want to listen to us, but a lot of you are just going to go ahead and get it anyway. Some of you are going to wake up. Some of you will be like, nah, man, that's spooky as hell. That sounds exactly what the elders apostles of GMS said. And look what's happening now. It fits exactly what is written here in Revelation 13. Yeah, duh. We've gone through it plenty of times. But, our people are hard of hearing. They're stubborn. All right? But like I said, the leaders of these congregations are going to lead many to their deaths. You know? This is First Titus chapter 11. Sorry, First Titus. What the hell am I talking about? It's Titus chapter 1, verse 11. Let me jump up. I'm going from verse 9, right? It says, holding fast the faithful word as have been taught. Okay? It's something these other leaders haven't done. Or they've not held on to the doctrine that they were given. And that's why a lot of changes has happened. Right? That's why Nate don't teach the name. Well, he's shy, right? He's shy. He don't want to uphold the name, uplift the name, right? The mark of the beast. They don't want to. These guys got all kinds of explanations and differentiations of what the mark of the beast could be, right? None of them are correct though. There's a lot of changes that have happened. All right. So holding fast the faithful word as have been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine to both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. Now, like I said, as time gets draws closer to that time, the truth is going to become more and more apparent, right? But you're still going to have people that are going to be stubborn, right? Only the elect can wake up, right? So it's not like everybody's going to see it. They'll be like, yeah, it could be, but they're still going to go the wrong way anyway. They're still going to take it, right? Now, these men can't be right, even though that you see it. You're just like, no, they can't be right, and you're going to take it. Good luck to you, right? Verse 10 says, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision. So among our people that know they're Israelites, right, they've made that covenant, we're circumcised, we call upon well, not all of them obviously, but we call upon the names of the Father and the Son, Yahweh, Yahushai, but we understand who we are, right? Okay, we've now become the circumcised, right? As opposed to our former state where we was ignorant and didn't know shit, uncircumcised and strangers of the covenant and all that kind of stuff. But now we know. Now we're part of this thing, right? So, so these dudes need to, their mouths need to stop talking because they obviously don't know what the hell they're talking about, right? And they're leading masses of people to their destruction, right? But like I said, they've been set up as false prophets because they must exist. False prophets must exist. Right, and really and truly, it's a minefield that you have to navigate through with the Spirit. Through the Spirit, the Most High has to be on you to navigate through the bullshit. Right, because there's a lot of bullshit out there. I like Google, man. It'll send up like a trillion searches, right? But you only want one link. you only want the one link that has the truth. You might have to sift through it, but you only want the one link that tells you the truth, right? But it's not as easy as that. You gotta actually put some time and effort in. But the Spirit of the Lord is upon his elect to find the right way, because it's good to say, my sheep hear my voice. And so it's not necessarily a hard thing for us, because to us it's like, it comes naturally, it comes simple, right? because the Most High is working with us. But for those that the Most High is working against, yeah, you're gonna be pushed towards these other dudes, man, that don't have your best interests at heart. All right, and that's the large bulk of our people that are being pushed in that direction. All right. But anyway, it says, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. Right? It's all about the Benjamins over there. Right? They've become arrogant and proud because of how big they've become. They're individual organizations. Right? They all got the 501c3s, and so they tax exempt, and there's money coming in. They're doing projects. They're going flying over here. Man, are going different countries and getting chased out of town, gas canisters, and all kinds of things. You know what I mean? Man, are building studios or making rap videos. They're just doing the most. Everyone's doing the most, right? If you was broke, you wouldn't be doing all that shit. You'd be on the HD cameras like the rest of us. You snobs. 4K cameras, man. We don't need that. Snobs, man. But if you broke, you wouldn't be doing all the madness, man. You wouldn't be doing all this extra shit. But money does crazy things to people. Right? Money makes you do crazy things, and when you ain't got a handle on it. All right, so yeah, it's become more about making the money. And differentiating yourself from other people and all this kind of business. So, and making it palatable for people, so they more people can come in and join your thing. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, "The creations are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith." Right? And this is the job of elders and apostles, GMS. Brothers out there, hey, we got on these other accounts because they ain't right, man. Because they refuse to teach the true, the real doctrine, the true doctrine. Right? So it's our job to correct them. Right? And that's all it really is. Because just maybe, in their congregations, maybe members of the elect, and we believe that there are. So we do what we do, for that very reason, right? And the fact that we're commanded to do so. Not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Men that turn from the truth. Nate's one of those. He turned from Yahweh Shai. He don't teach that no more. He feigns ignorance. He doesn't even know Hebrew no more. But apparently people got Hebrew names, so I don't even know how they figure that one out. But there's a whole bunch, holes and hypocrisy going on between these other camps or whatever. But yeah, it's yeah, it's not the main MO of these groups anymore. The truth, It says, unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. We don't know the Hebrew, really. Or you got weak faith then, innit? If you don't believe it. But you taught it, but you don't believe it anymore. You got weak faith. That's what it boils down to. So unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. Okay, we're dealing with reprobate fellows, man. That are corrupted with money. So this is not getting through to some of these dudes, man. This is Ezekiel 33 verse 3. Let me start from the top, I guess, right? It says, again, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon the land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him for their watchman, right? And in these last days, the Most High is going to send a sword, right? And so who does he send? His servants, the prophets, because their job has always been that. Before the Lord come and bring judgment upon the people, our people, or whatever, right? He sent his prophets to warn them to repent, right? To get right with the Lord before this judgment comes, because otherwise you're going to be destroyed, right? Even the Lord knowing that you men are hard-headed and not going to hear anyway, the Lord still gave you opportunity to repent. All right, and that's what the prophets did. They'd warn you. And it's like the same thing we're doing today, right? So we're those watchmen today, right? It says, when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people, right? The watchman is responsible for blowing the trumpet and warning the people of the thing that's about to advance on the gates, about to come, right? And whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head, right? So yeah, we warned everybody, right? Everybody knows what we teach, right? We warned you about the mark of the beast, right? So you all heard what we had to say. Okay, you might want to ridicule it and don't believe it or whatever. Okay, well, we'll see how you feel when the time comes. If you're still going to be adamant then, right? But like I said, a lot of you will be, because you're meant to be. A whole lot of people are meant to be, meant to take this shit because of disobedience. All right, so a lot of you are going to be disobedient anyway and take the mark of the beast anyhow, right? Only a few of us, of the Lord's elect, are going to reject that. All right. So his blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. Wait. It's like I jumped the verse. But verse 5 now says, he heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. Right, so it'll be down to you, basically. You didn't want to listen, so your fault in it. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul, right? But if the watchman see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people not be warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand, right? And that's these other camps. They're not adequately warning you about what is coming, right? So they're partly responsible, or maybe even solely responsible. Maybe not solely, but they're a big reason as to why you won't receive this judgment, man, because they listened to you. You guided them to that destruction. You played your part in that. Maybe they would have never got in the right direction in the first place anyway, but you played your role in deceiving them and bringing them to that demise. All right, so the Lord is going to require at your hands. All right, because you didn't do your job. You failed to do what you called yourself doing, that you set yourself up to do, right? Because you call yourself, elders and prophets and all these high priests and all this sort of stuff, right? But you're not fulfilling the role of any of these things. You're not doing what was commanded of us. You ain't warning them. You're giving them a bunch of BS, and you want them, just to live up life in Babylon in the meantime. But this place is not our rest, right? Like I said, this place will destroy us, right? So why are you even promoting that type of lifestyle? It's not what we're here to be doing. So, you really made your congregations, you've put down a guard, right? Where our guard should be the highest it's ever been. The devil is really about to roll upon us, man. Okay, we got to be vigilant, like hella vigilant, to anything that he's doing. But when it comes to Esau now, these characters, these leaders, man, they don't really want you to be concerned. Oh, don't worry about digital currency, cryptocurrency. Don't worry about the digital ID or the universe space. Don't worry about all these systems that he's building and he's putting in place. Don't worry about all of that. It's just Christianity. Yeah, that's the mark of the beast. Or it's white women. Yeah, that's the mark of the beast. It's stupid. When it comes to Esau, they basically tell you don't worry about that. But he's the enemy. Like, what do you mean don't worry about what he's doing? you need to be privy to what he's doing. And I don't mean worried like we're scared. No, we ain't scared of what Esau's doing. But you got to be privy to what he's doing, so you know that you ain't gonna be fooled, because that's what Satan's job is to deceive you, right? To fool you. Right? So yeah, you got to be privy to what he's doing. But you're not even warning them about that. You're not even showing them things. Your head's down in the fucking ground. Yeah, it's Christianity. Yeah, it's Christianity. Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Christianity. Yeah. And it's just ignorance. You're teaching ignorance. Mark of the beast is ignorance. Right? Because a lot of people will be destroyed just because you weren't fucking listening. Right? But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood would I require at the watchman's hand. Right? So you leaders are in trouble, man. Okay, you leaders are in trouble for the part you're playing in the destruction of these men. All right, and like I said, you get on us because we get on them, and get on you because you ain't teaching, right? We're only trying to pull you out the fire, man. If it's possible, you know. But then what do you camps do? Or you start slandering us, you start calling us pedophiles, rapists, and all this extremist terror, whatever, man. Whatever slanders you have for us, that's what you start doing. Oh, you're bums. It's like, is this what we got? This petty tit for tat shit. Is that really your defense? Because you don't want to actually go into the scriptures. It's really ridiculous. This is John chapter 10, verse 12. Let's see, quick. Let's start from 11, right? It says, I am the good shepherd. This is Yahushua speaking, it's in red. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep, okay, which Yahushua did, right? And you think these guys are going to give up their lives to protect the congregation? Bro, no, they're selling you out, man. They're out there getting rich off taking cruises, taking plane trips and all kinds of things, and building their own status, right? they got you down on the database. They're ready to sell you out, man. You just don't know it yet. Nate thinks he's safe, because he's in league, but these guys, they're not safe, man. Right, but anyway, but he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. Because when you hire someone to do something, he's got no allegiance to, the thing he's protecting. It's not his. He doesn't see it as theirs. He's there for the money. Because you hire someone to do the work. He's not just doing the work for doing the work's sake. He's doing it because he's getting paid. Right? He is the hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. See if the wolf coming, the threat, okay, which is Esau, which is everything that's happening, right? In this particular case, the mark of the beast, that is the threat, right? See if the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep and fleeth. Right? You ain't gonna see him. Nate's probably got plans, man. And these other leaders, probably got plans, man. They've probably got bunkers ready and all kinds of things. They think they're just gonna, dip out. But no, if you know anything about Esau's tactics and his plans, his implementation of these things, right? You go back to the Rex 84 program or Project Megiddo, or what's the other one, man? These were the old ones we used to go back. We used to go into years back. But yeah, these types of plans and programs, they exist and are ready to be implemented in times of martial law and all these different types of things. And you leaders, right? Because you have influence, okay, you're also a target. Because they don't want you, changing up or using that influence for other reasons or purposes. So you're a target also. You're not safe. Just because you're in league with Esau now, it don't mean shit in the future. We know Esau doesn't keep no contracts. And you should know this, but the history is well known that Esau doesn't keep his contracts, doesn't keep his word. Right? So don't think you might say because you got a bit of money, you got plans or whatever, the most likely most likely gonna put you in the hands of your enemy, man. For real, Esau will get you. Right? So let me read again. So, but he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming and leaveth the sheep and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. Right? And that's why you're going to lead a lot of people to taking that mark and being destroyed, because you're going to lead them and get them into the hands of Esau to do that. Right? Like I said, just with the CV jabs. Right? You men didn't adequately warn them about anything. You said, well, if you got to take it, take it. And then some of your congregation dropped dead. Talking about Nate again, But I don't know about the other groups, but I know in IUIC, some people passed away from that shit. But we were telling you from the beginning, don't take that shit. Don't trust Esau. Right? Don't trust whatever that mysterious thing that he was trying to sell you and make you feel like, yeah, it's the way it's safe. Yeah, sure. Has it even been approved even to this very day? I don't think it has. But we forget about it now, innit? That was like, back then, right? Don't think about it no more. But has it even been approved to this day? I don't think it has. But here it is, your leaders were saying it was okay. All right. All that stuff's gonna age. It has aged like bad milk, man. But same with this whole MOTB thing. It's all gonna age badly, man. Oh, all this posturing that these cats have been doing, especially Nate, because he's a pantomime artist. But it's all gonna age real badly, man. And that's why your congregation is gonna get scared when it happens. So the hirer fleeth because he is a hireling and careth not for the sheep. Right? They're there for the money. I am the good shepherd and know my sheep and am known of mine. Right? We're here for the sheep. We're here for Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai to do the job they're given to us, man. We're not here for fame, for glory, for money. We're here to put our lives on the line in what we believe in. All right? So we're not here we're not here for a lengthened stay. We're not planning bare far into the future or nothing like that. We're not looking to be here. Right? We're looking to get out. So that's our main thing. All right? This is 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 3. It's off the top, right? It says, but there were false prophets also among the people. Oh, pardon me. Even as there shall be false teachers among you. Right? And they're everywhere. There's more of them than there are of us, man. That's just the truth of the matter. Right? Their voices are louder. The congregations are larger. No, there's just more of them. Right? So how are you meant to, discern who has the truth and who's not? Because you'd imagine, usually what it would be is that, the people with most people usually be right. Right? But we know the Most High doesn't deal with like the majority of people. Right? In fact, this is going to be a very small group of people that are going to be in the right. Right? It's because the Most High likes to defy odds. Or have man defy odds so the Most High can get the glory. Because a man has no right of, claiming victory, on a battlefield where he's well outnumbered. He has no business winning. But through the Most High, he can win. Right? That's what the Most High likes to do. All right? So it's really only with the few that are going to receive this truth. And those, with these large numbers and whatever, large finances and whatever, they're all just going to be confounded. All right? So there should be false teachers among you who privily shall bring in damnable heresies. Yes, many men have fallen out the truth apparently to ISUPK, John, Moses. Like what the hell is going on over there? You know what I mean? In all these camps, there's something weird going on, man. They're saying some weird stuff. You know what I mean? It's just like, why are you even saying this? This is weird. Right? So who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them. I say Nate drops the names, and now no one knows what his name is. But we're just going to call him Jesus just in case. Like, what? So even denying the Lord that bought them and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Right? Destruction is coming. Right? And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. Right? So they speak against us because, they apparently we're demons. We're just the worst group of Israelites in Israel. So we can't have the truth. We just vile and corrupt men and bums. So we got to be bad people. Because we got no money. Because we got rough garments. You don't know shit about us, man. Right? And though covetousness, and through covetousness, right, the love of money, shall they with vain words make merchandise of you. And that's why, they men buy. But, what can we sell? Anything, everything. Right? Even if it has no value, we're going to sell it. And like, they're all into that, man. It's funny that they, of all things that they have in common, is the main thing. They might differ slightly on doctrines and that, but they all want to sell you something. Right? And they happily get along with people that they don't even get, not even supposed to get along with. But if there's money involved, yeah, we all go sit down and we do this debate, or we all do business together or something. When it comes to that, yeah, them men are yoked. For us, we don't want nothing to do with all of that, man. I be not unequally yoked to unbelievers, man. We're not. Do your thing, man. It's got nothing to do with us. You want to appear on sign letters program or whatever, you go do that, man. But we ain't gonna do that. What for? Oh, it's an opportunity to reach out. Yeah, bro, we don't need your help to reach out. The Most High got it covered, man. We don't need your help to reach out. You know, to make connections, and you don't need that from you or anybody. You know, the Most High got it dealt with, right? So through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you. Yeah, they do all the the pantomime acting shit. They say say goodly things or sounds goodly. Oh yeah, keep the laws, and it sounds good. Yeah, it sounds good. Oh, what's the one from ISBK? Are there never been a weak Jews at ISBK? I can't remember, man. That might be IUIC as well. I can't remember. They got all these, they got all these mantras and whatever. They say things that like I don't want to be weak. Yeah, I'm not weak. They say all these things that make you feel like we're part of something. Yeah, strong and it's righteous and but you're not actually doing anything. You're not actually doing anything that you're supposed to be doing. It just looks good maybe on the outside, or makes you feel good on the inside, whatever it is, man. But it ain't right. It's not the truth, But anyway, they make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. Right. So it's all just just down to time. They're gonna get what's coming to them. All right. It's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 5, right? Perverse. Let me start from 3, right? So if any man teach otherwise and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to godliness, so they speak contrary to us, right? So we're obviously going to get on them, right? Because they're coming up with some madness, all right? So he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strife of words, right? You've brought in these new doctrines, and all he's doing is causing strife, contention. The contention is not from us. We teach things how they're supposed to be taught and how things are in the scriptures. It's you guys that are bringing that stuff that it's just like, what the hell are you talking about? How did Moses fall out of truth? How did John fall out of truth? How is Alazar high priest? Or ex-high priest? How did you become an ex-high priest? How did he become an ex? Well, that's what I would say. How did he become an ex-high priest? It's just that, oh, Paul, don't worry about Paul. Don't worry about what he says. It's just all these camps have got something. It's mad, right? But you bring in strife and contention because you bring in BS, man. So he's proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strife of words, whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, and evil surmisings, perverse disputes of men of corrupt minds. That's who we're dealing with. All right, and destitute of the truth. They ain't got the truth. They got parts, but they ain't gonna be enough to save you. Right? Because they got you believing in some bullshit. Right? And if it's all about faith and belief, right? If you ain't believing in the correct thing, then you're doomed to fail. Man, I got you calling on the names of wrong gods and all kinds of things. It's like, you're gonna fail. Man, I got you believing the mark of the beast is something completely off. You're gonna fail. It says, men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness. Oh yeah, look how successful I am. And people will see that, look how successful they are. God must be working with them. It's the same with the Christian church, like the Catholic Church and the Pope. And there's money going around, man. Must mean it's good. No, it don't mean that. No, not in the slightest. Right? Because people conveniently forget about the scripture. These are the wicked that prosper in the world. They conveniently forget about that. The righteous are the meek. Right? We're not meant to be on some higher baller level. Like, we're just balling out. I got myself a fresh... what whip did Hassad have, man? Some Mercedes GLA or something. I don't know. Expensive car. Whatever it was. And if he wasn't in the job, I'd be like, yeah, good for you, nigga. Do your thing, innit? Right? But he's meant to be, or was meant to be, a leader in Israel, teaching, our brothers and sisters the truth. And he was just corrupt in the game, And that's why we can't rate that. Can't rate that. If you was in the shoe and you was doing your thing and you got your, alright, cool, innit? Whatever, innit? Well done. Consolation prizes, innit? But, bro, you're doing something far, far worse, man. Bringing, corrupting, not that it can be corrupted, but like, corrupting this ministry. I say at least, I say you can't be corrupted, but it's like, what you're doing is vile. At the end of the day, it's a defense to us. Supposing that gain is godliness from such, withdraw thyself. We don't have nothing to do, you dudes, man. Okay, we're not in the game of making money and being in the realm of money, and like we get our daily bread, we got our jobs, man. We should go to work. Like we don't use the scriptures, to try and make money. Okay, we use our own hands for that. Whatever your brothers do, that's our own bodies do that. We ain't using this truth to make money for us, man. That's not what it's not what it's for. But this is what you're doing with the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man, which is, like I said, it's vile, ultimately, man. It's offensive. Right? And you will surely be judged, but by the end of all of this. Right? So, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Right? So contentment, right? Whether you have a lot or little, whatever the Most High decides to bless you with, that's what it is, man. And to be content therewith, right? But to remain faithful and have integrity in that's all great gain. Right? Because only you're going to be led on the right path, man, towards salvation. Okay, these guys are going to be corrupted with all this money because what's been happening. And it's something that elders and apostles always warns about, even with the stories of the old school and, the tables and that kind of stuff. Men were just getting ahead of themselves, man. They were like, they forgot about why they were out there. These men are making so much money, right? And unfairly treating people unfairly because all they wanted was more money in their pocket, so they could have nice things, right? But you're depriving, you ain't in the right spirit anymore. It's Luke chapter 6 verse 24. But woe unto you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. Right? You got all the goodies you're gonna get. Out of this place, man. You're done. Right? But you ain't gonna have no high office in the kingdom. Right? You built yourself an office. It was like, yep, I'm CEO. I'm CEO, nigga. That's what you guys want. You want to be the boss. You want all the money, the fame. You want the women, And so you thought what I will do is I will set myself up with these things. I ain't gonna wait. I ain't gonna be patient. I ain't gonna wait until the Lord comes because I don't know when the Lord's coming, right? So I ain't gonna wait. I'm gonna get it now. I'm gonna get my shit now, right? And that's what these guys are doing. Because they're not patient men. They're not spiritual men. They're carnal men. They're men of the flesh. They're men of the flesh, man. Can be ruled by their carnal desires. Right? So, like I said, these men are not pure. So everything's impure. Everything's corrupt. Everything that they do. Even, how they think and how they perceive things. It's all impure. It's all corrupt. So they ain't going to come out with no truth. They ain't going to come out with no correct 100% truth, man. Right? Verse 25. Woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. The man, Hassan was, skanking out in his car, what the hell he was doing. He was living, he in a good place. He was like, yeah, I'm on cloud 9 right now, man. I'm my whip. I can't remember the music he was playing, but he was feeding himself, man. He was feeding himself. Right? But that's like all you leaders, you feel yourself, man. Right? Ours, the apostles, man, they don't feel themselves like that at all. Right? They just they act like regular men. I don't know. These guys get their head is exploded, man. It's inflated to unknown levels. The self-importance is crazy, right? Yeah, they're deranged. They're deranged in the mind, man. Right? At Elders and Apostles was just regular. It was regular men. Okay, we have offices. You know what I mean? We have different ranks and whatever. But they don't really mean shit here ultimately, right? Because we're not in the kingdom yet. You know what I mean? As we say, these things are for order's sake. But like, we can't we're not. We don't take it too seriously like that. That's what I'm saying. All these ranks, yeah. It's like, yeah, bro. No, you man actually want these titles and ranks so you can parade around with them right now. So you can I'm the highest chief, eldest priest, 7-star general, Vulcan warrior. I'll just throw shit out there, man. But it's like, yeah, what's next, man? What's next? Because everybody has to come up with something that's one better, isn't it? So, when the new cats come along, and yeah, what they're gonna be, man? What's their title of the rank is gonna be? It's like, fuck. Man's been on the scene 2 minutes. Man's already got a high ranking elder status thing. It's like, whoa, chill, bro. But that's what they've all been doing, I'll talking from more the younger camps, but Nate and Johanna, they go back a bit, but yeah, it's just getting ridiculous, man. But anyway, it says woe unto you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe unto you that laugh now, for ye shall mourn and weep. Woe unto you when all men speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. Right? Yeah, everyone seems to like these dudes. Like, what was his name? Fucking sign out. Yeah, you gotta have mercy on Eleazar and all this. He's running these other Hebrews like counts, man, and they're likable, right? They're likable, right? And it's like, what the hell, man? Right? Because they always take these different types of angles where people like them, so people can like them more. Like GMS, no one fucking likes us. I was like, it can't be helped. It's like, what do you want? We're sticking to the scriptures, man. We're sticking to the source, and so yeah, we're not really particularly liked. But hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We're not meant to be. You're not here to be liked. It's not. We're not here trying to win a popularity fucking contest. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. That's what I want from that. So, just one more scripture, right? Luke 17, verse 32. Remember Lot's wife. Right, because the truth is, man, these dudes really love this world. They really love this world, man, and they want it to go on as long as it physically can. If they believe the Lord's coming back, or they want it to go on as long as it physically can, so they can reap all that they can from this place, man. Because they got goals to hit. They got plans to do. That's the truth. These men want to stay here as long as possible. They don't actually hate Babylon. They don't actually hate it. They're living a good life here. They don't hate it. They don't actually hate it, man. Right? So whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, right? These men, since being in the truth, you could tell, before, they weren't nobody, before they was in the ministry, or in a ministry or whatever. But since they got these, these understandings and we taught the scriptures and that, this is where they've become big. Right? This is where they've become somebody, and they're getting money and they're at the highest. They're peaked. They've peaked. They've peaked at life. It's the peakest they're ever gonna be. Right? But that's all gonna be taken away from them, man. Because you shouldn't have made the scriptures or used the scriptures so you could hit your fucking peak. That's not what it was for. Right? You've used it so you could hit your peak, so you can like I said, gain more worldly possessions. You sought to build your life. Right? So it says, whosoever shall seek to save his life, yeah, you want to establish it, build it up here. You want to get all this money in and all that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? You're going to lose it. Because, why? Because the Most High is going to destroy this place, man. And in the process, destroy you. So you're going to lose it all. Everything. Right? And you're not going to have no respect, no honor, no glory, no nothing. Yeah, you're going to be Israelite in the kingdom. But you're not going to be on the level of the true men, of the elect. Right? So you're still going to be a little guy in the realm of things. Right? Because you didn't want to be a little guy here. You want to be a bigger guy here. You want power and acknowledgement and money above others here. It's like, well, you got your consolation prize, then, isn't it? And so, but you're gonna lose it. That's it. You're gonna lose it. So whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve. You, if you're prepared to lose everything, all right, that's where you're gonna receive your honor, your glory, your respect, right, and the reward comes after you've put everything on the line, after you've given everything up, right? But these camps are more geared towards gaining more things as opposed to losing things. And again, it's something ours and apostles have always, Apostle Tahar, have always made known to us. Like this isn't gonna be a fun ride, right? It ain't gonna be a fucking fun ride, man. The road to salvation is not pleasant, right? Scripture tells you as much, right? Through great tribulation, you're going to enter into the kingdom. This is not going to be a fun ride, and they told us that plainly, right? They didn't throw a bunch of fucking parties and make it feel like, oh yeah, this is great. Like that's not how they reeled us in. You know what I mean? By all of the gimmicks and look at the costumes, man. Look at the armbands and we did the marching, we were solidarity. Yeah, we got the wires in the background. Yeah. We weren't reeled in by none of that because they weren't offering none of that. It was purely scriptural. Everything is just scriptures, prophecy, end times. You know what I mean? Like things were gonna get tough and things were gonna get bad. People are gonna hate you. You're gonna lose everything. You're gonna lose things. Like that's what was made known to us plainly. And so when we decided to we was about this. Like we wanted to be a part of this. It wasn't on the premise of if it was gonna be fucking rosy and sunshine. It was never on that type of premise. All right, but the Spirit was in us to accept and acknowledge that sufferings, man. That's that's what's in front of us right now. The Spirit was on us to accept those things, regardless of the fact that we were going to suffer. But these Israelite camps don't tell you none of that. They don't tell you none of that. They don't make that plainly clear. These men are too busy having fucking cookouts and shit. Making rap videos. So these men aren't really ready to lose everything, man. They're not come to that understanding yet. You know what I mean? They don't thought about that properly yet. But us men that came in from the truth from the beginning, came into this truth, right? That's been on our minds the whole time. The whole time we've been in this truth, that has been on our mind. We've had plenty of time to resolve that, in our spirit. And so when these troubles do come, Mark of the Beast and all these types of things, man, we're ready. Lord willing, we'll be ready in the spirit to deal with all these things, man. You guys ain't ready, man, because your leaders haven't raised you up in any real type of way, right? They've not warned you, man. But like I said, these guys, they're not gonna get away with it because they play a dangerous game too. They play a dangerous game, man. Using extorting the sheep of the not the sheep, so children of the Lord, right? By extorting the children of the Lord, you've played a dangerous game. Yeah, you've got things in this world, like I said, you leveled up and whatever, but you're gonna go out in a sad way, man. And in the kingdom, it's like you ain't gonna feel good about it. You ain't gonna feel like it was worth it. Guarantee you that. All right. So I'm gonna end it there. Lord willing, this has been edifying, and I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video. Until next time, I say shalom.